They say, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, I am, and I love it. I love this title. How can I be your lover when I'm too busy being your mother? The answer to becoming partners. Again, they hold all of the keys and all of the answers. It's Sara Dimerman, Kearns. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi.
Where shall we begin? First of all, how did you come together to come up with this concept of women and mothering their partners?
Well, if I can share that, I'm a therapist for over 20 years, and I see hundreds of couples in this situation, but it only came to me a few years ago. I was sitting in a counseling session with a couple, and the woman was sharing with me how she's so sick and tired of picking up his dirty socks and always being responsible for everything. And then later on, she's telling me, we haven't had sex in 2 years. And then I thought to myself, I had this like light bulb epiphany, and I said, well, how can you be his lover if you're so busy being his mother?
Right.
And so she burst out laughing, as is the reaction for most women that read the title. She really got it in a second. He was a little bit like, what are you talking about here? But then he got it. On the way home, JM and I had been working on my second parenting book together. He was helping to edit it. And I called JM and I said, hey, I need a male co-author to balance this.
The voice. And it's not a he said, she said. You're on the same side.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I interviewed a lot of women when I was working on the book, and their experiences impressed me, and I tried to express those too.
But I can hear the men yelling at the screen right now. It's not fair. I take the lion's share of the domestic chores as well, or the accounting in the house, or the child rearing. Yet you're hearing something different.
But it's not true.
Well, you can write your hate mail to howcanibeyourlover.com for more information. So why do you say that?
Well, because we've done some research, and we also, in my experience as a therapist and personally, but a lot of research has shown that despite magazine articles, there was a big article about chore wars in Time a few years ago, it's a bit slanted. Really, we're finding that women are still doing the lion's share of the work, despite the fact that they're working outside the home as many, if not more, hours than men.
Okay, so if women are nodding right now thinking, yes, this is me, there's no sizzle in the relationship because I'm too busy being the cook, the best friend, the accountant,
the child care,
the daycare, yes, provider. What do you do to rekindle that? How do you get to that point where you can, first of all, talk about it and not offend your spouse, and then progress?
Well, what we say in the book is, first you got to get over some of the myths that keep husbands and wives stuck in this trap. Like the myth that a woman's work can never be done by a man. Even though women have moved into the labor force and are doing all the jobs that used to be just for men, men have this kind of resistance, and so do women, to men doing woman's work, which is a traditional thing that.
For example?
Well, the cleaning, the cooking, the cooking, the child rearing,
diaper changing,
management of the home, all that stuff.
And I think that a lot of those stereotypes have been passed down to us from our own parents. So, back in the 50s or even the 60s, where women weren't working as much outside the house, women didn't feel as angry and resentful about having to do the second full-time job at home. They kind of saw that as their role, so they passed it down. So some of the myths that we debunk in the book are things like, well, my mother did it this way, it's okay. And we say that you've got to get beyond that, because the most important part of the book for me, one of the most important parts, is about the kinds of feelings that we as women have when we're in this role. We feel angry, we feel hostile, we feel resentful. So the last thing we want to do when we get into bed at night is have sex with our husbands.
You're resenting them.
Yeah, it's like I've put out enough today, don't ask me for another thing.
Yeah, the Expendables, right? You only have so much energy in a day, and it's the superwoman syndrome I'm taking on.
But this actually can go both ways, because a husband who feels like he's been demoted and is now being treated as a child,
nagged.
Men don't like that either, and it creates a lot of animosity between the two, so they stop having a loving relationship, and intimacy tends to, suffer.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is everybody chip in, create a little date night every once and again, maybe get out of the house, maybe set some money aside, get somebody to help you with cleaning once a week.
Good point.
Right?
Good point. I say
that's a cop-out. You have to get the guy to do it. You got to get the man to do it.
I say it's okay.
JM said it. For more information, everybody, howcanibeyourlover.com. You can actually meet them both with their book launch happening this Saturday at Yorkdale Mall at Indigo. That's 2 p.m. It's really cool. They will take all of your questions, comments, and concerns as they have a Q&A session, as well as audience signing. Thank you so much for being so bold and brave.